In the bustling heart of Cebu City, where jeepneys rumble through narrow streets, and the smell of fried street food mixes with dust and diesel, a 16-year-old boy named Mikel Ramos fought to survive. He had no house to call home, no bed to sleep in, and no one waiting for him when the night fell. His shelter was a piece of cardboard behind an abandoned wet market stall, his blanket a tattered jacket he'd found in the trash. Each morning, as the city awakened, Mikel wandered the streets barefoot, his stomach empty, but his mind filled with melodies. Music was his only refuge, his only escape from the harsh reality that had stolen almost everything else. He sang for coins at crowded jeepney stops, his voice echoing between concrete walls, rising above the noise of horns and engines. Some people tossed him a few pesos out of pity, others simply walked past without looking. Yet every time he sang, Mikel felt alive. His voice was the one thing life could not take from him. One night, after a small performance at a local charity event, a tourist uploaded a video of Mikel singing on the streets. Within days, it went viral. Producers from America's Got Talent saw it and reached out. At first, Mikel thought it was a cruel joke. How could someone like him, a boy who slept beside a garbage bin, stand on the world's biggest stage? But when the ticket arrived, reality hit. This was his one shot. Borrowing an old shirt from a church donation box and clutching his worn-out backpack, Mikel boarded a plane for the first time in his life. When he finally stepped onto the AGT stage, the blinding lights and roaring crowd felt unreal. He looked around, trembling, clutching the microphone with both hands. Simon Cowell eyed him with mild curiosity, perhaps doubting what the thin, nervous Filipino boy could possibly bring. Michael's heart pounded as he took a deep breath. For years, he had been ignored, unseen, a ghost in his own city. But tonight, in front of the world, he was determined to sing not just to impress, but to survive. The instant Mikel began to sing, the atmosphere inside the theater transformed. His voice wasn't polished or trained, but it was real, raw, trembling, soaked with pain and longing. Every syllable carried the scars of his life on the streets. The judges froze. The audience fell utterly silent. Mikel's song told his story better than words ever could. The hunger that gnawed at his stomach, the nights he spent shivering in the rain, the loneliness of a child forgotten by the world. Yet beneath the sorrow was an unmistakable thread of hope, a fierce determination that refused to die. His range surprised everyone, high notes ringing pure and powerful, low tones weighted with emotion. Simon Cowell, famous for his unflinching critiques, leaned forward, eyes narrowing in disbelief. At first, he looked skeptical, but as Mikel's voice grew stronger, Simon's expression softened. He tilted his head slightly, mouthing a quiet, "Wow!" Even Heidi Klum and Howie Mandel exchanged glances of amazement. The camera panned across the crowd, strangers wiping tears, parents holding their children a little tighter, couples squeezing each other's hands. Mikel's voice had broken through every barrier of language, class, and distance. It spoke directly to the soul. Halfway through the song, when he reached the emotional climax, his voice cracked, not from lack of control, but from the weight of what he was feeling. That single crack carried more emotion than 1,000 perfect notes. Simon whispered to himself, "This can't be real." It was the kind of moment producers dream about, a once-in-a-lifetime performance that transcends entertainment. When the music finally stopped, there was a heartbeat of silence, so thick you could feel it. Then the crowd erupted. People were on their feet instantly, roaring with applause. The noise was deafening, but amid the chaos, Mikel just stood there, tears running down his cheeks, clutching the microphone as if afraid to let go. Simon still hadn't spoken. He just stared, speechless, before slowly nodding, an unspoken acknowledgement that he had just witnessed something extraordinary. As the cheers thundered through the theater, Mikel could hardly believe it. He had come from the dirtiest alleys of Cebu City, from nights of hunger and fear, and now an entire world was standing for him. The bright lights reflected off the tears on his face, making them sparkle like stars. Simon Cowell finally stood, clapping slowly at first, then faster, louder, until the entire panel followed. It was a rare sight. The toughest judge in television truly moved. He took the microphone and said, his British accent heavy with sincerity, "That was one of the most powerful auditions I've ever heard. You came here with nothing, but your voice, it's everything." The audience roared again. Mikel tried to speak but couldn't. His throat locked with emotion. Simon continued, "There are moments on this show that remind us why we do it, and this is one of them." For Mikel, those words meant more than gold. He had spent years unseen, unheard, unwanted, and now the world had listened. When Simon pressed the golden buzzer, glittering confetti rained down like a miracle. Mikel dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, his hands covering his face as the audience chanted his name. Cameras captured every tear, every trembling breath. It wasn't just an audition anymore, it was redemption. It was proof that no matter how low life brings you, talent and hope can lift you higher than you ever dreamed. Later, backstage, Mikel hugged the show's staff, unable to stop crying. For the first time, someone told him he had a future. The boy who once sang for coins under flickering streetlights now had a chance to sing for the world. As the episode aired, millions watched his story online. People donated, offered help, and sent messages of love. Simon Cowell himself shared the clip, writing, "This is why I love what I do." That single night changed Mikel's life forever. From the streets of Cebu City to the biggest stage in America, the homeless boy with nothing left to lose had given the world something it would never forget, a voice that proved hope can survive anywhere, even in the darkest corners of life.